A really interesting political power turn in the Republican race for Tarrant County Judge. Former Mayor Betsy Price has won a lot of elections, but not tonight, and she was running against a pretty powerful endorsement.
Right, former Fort Worth Mayor Betsy Price getting early endorsements for the job after Glenn Whitley announced his retirement, but former Farmers Branch Mayor Tim O'Hare got the endorsement that apparently really mattered to Republican voters, that of former President Donald Trump. So tonight, Tim O'Hare with 58% of the vote in winning this race. So let's go to Blake and Sean for some more analysis on this particular race.
Yeah, the update we just got from current Tarrant County Judge Glenn Whitley is apparently that we may not be getting votes beyond the early vote that we're looking at right now until possibly 4 in the morning. And so we're going to have to wait this one a little bit more to figure out if Tim O'Hare escapes a runoff.
So early vote numbers, if they stand, it's kind of surprising. Betsy Price, I think for a decade was tax assessor. For a decade was mayor, well liked across all communities and tried to bring communities together, but was painted as too liberal for Tarrant County and too liberal to be a Republican.
One of the things that I think will be interesting as we look back on some of these judge races is there were a fair amount of people that didn't fully understand the capabilities, I think, and powers of a judge. And then the pandemic hit. And people understood that the judge was the person issuing a lot of those emergency orders. Now, the governor stripped a lot of that control from the county judges.
Right.
But if you're worried about restrictions, pandemic restrictions, could any of that come back? Obviously, it's not going to in Texas with the governor's controls, but Tim O'Hare would be the candidate that people would be voting for. So it'll be interesting to see if pandemic restrictions were a big contributor in those votes.
That was part of his messaging. And the other part of his messaging was about critical race theory and this cancel culture. And I want to know how, as a county judge, you tackle critical race theory that's not part of the judge's responsibilities. But it was a big part of his campaign.
In attacking Betsy Price over it for her job as mayor when it wasn't, again, something that the Fort Worth City Council was really dealing with a lot either. So again, ads carry a lot of weight, and not everyone does their digging into what is actually being discussed in those ads.
Or what's being omitted.
Or what's being left out. So we'll have to see on that as well. I believe we've got Macy Jenkins, who is at Betsy Price's watch party following that race for us now. Macy?
Hi, Blake and Sean. Well, things have cleared out here at the Price headquarters in watch party. I think this wasn't exactly the result that the campaign was expecting for tonight. The mood in the room, surprised at the results so far, but still feeling confident that things could turn around when they're looking at those results. Now, Tarrant County Judge Glenn Whitley did tell us that the county elections office is having issues with their equipment and with their computers, and that we likely would not have any results until early tomorrow morning. That's around 4 o'clock in the morning. At this point, only early voting numbers are in. O'Hare leading with 57% of the vote and Price with 34%. Price had a busy day visiting polling locations all over the county. Her final stop right here at Michael's Cuisine. It's a place she calls her good luck charm, rather. She welcomed many longtime supporters tonight, including Judge Whitley and current Fort Worth Mayor Maddie Parker. Now, in this race, Price arguably has the most name recognition. She is the longest serving mayor in Fort Worth history. Before that, she was Tarrant County tax assessor. Price told me she's feeling confident, she's proud of her campaign, and she knows she has to be patient. She addressed her supporters a little after 10 tonight. Take a listen.
I appreciate you being here tonight, and we would just tell you, because we won't have anything till 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, that go home, take a short sleep, and get up and watch it again in the morning.
Now, something we've called a wild card in many elections around the state, the Trump factor. Blake and Sean, you were talking about this. I asked Price about this other endorsement that she did not get. This is from former President Donald Trump. During Price's time as mayor, her administration made several trips to Washington to work with the Trump administration. But in this race, the former president endorsed her opponent, Tim O'Hare. The former Farmers Branch mayor is in Southlake tonight with his supporters. Here's what he had to say.
I think the message loud and clear is that Tarrant County Republicans want a conservative candidate. Clearly they thought I was the conservative candidate. We're not declaring victory just yet because we have no votes in from today's votes, but it would take something incredibly significant and unforeseen for that to change.
So again, at this point, no final result. We don't have any of the numbers that came in from tonight. This watch party cleared out a few minutes ago. Price was one of the last people to go home. So now it's a waiting game. We'll see what happens when we get the results about 4 or 5 in the morning. Again, just a reminder, and we keep saying this, but if O'Hare stays over that 50%, the race is over. If he does not, if neither one of them reaches it, then we'll go into the runoff. I'll send it back to you all in the studio.
All right, Macy, thank you. So here's a look at the Democratic race for Tarrant County Judge. Former Tarrant County Democratic Party Chair Deborah Peoples is facing former Arlington City Council member Marvin Sutton. She faced him, 83% of the vote in now.
And if you're wondering about that Republican race that we were talking about, 70,000 Republicans voted early and by mail. And that's usually where most of the votes come in nowadays. Early voting is so popular, so Betsy Price would have to get a lot of same-day votes to make up that.
So what you're saying is even if she gets it really early, it might not
change. Could be tough.
That much. All right.